Owen, Judy, thank you so much for taking the time. Congratulations on the show. I really loved it.
Thank you.
Look, I want to start with you. I want to ask you, as the star, number one on the call sheet, Price Cahill, the executive producer of this show. What was it about the story in particular what was it about the story in particular that drew you into it? And did the golf aspect at all have a particular allure to you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the golf ended up being kind of a double-edged sword for me, because that initially was why I was kind of nervous and, didn't necessarily see myself doing it, because I didn't play golf and I have a real respect for golf. My dad was a very good golfer and my brothers. And so then when talking with Jason Keller, the show creator, and we met a bunch, and he, made me believe that maybe I could do it. And then once I signed on, I kind of, started taking some lessons, but, not sure if I would really kind of, continue or how much progress, because you don't really see me play that much in it, but I just ended up really getting into it. So then it ended up being, the movie or show that I've, done the most outside work for, but that was just because it was fun.
Golf is both fun and frustrating. But now, Judy, some people use psychics, some people have soothsayers, some use GPS or compass to find their direction. I have a simple philosophy. It is the Greer green light. If Judy Greer is involved with it, I am going to join in all the way. I love almost everything, every project that you've been in. So tell me, what was your attraction to this project?
Wow, I'm very flattered. Thank you. I have him and Jason Keller. We actually go way back.
That's right.
We worked together like 15 years ago. I probably don't have to tell you, on a movie called Marmaduke. Duh.
One of the early Greer green lights.
Have you seen that one? Anyway, let's test your theory, shall we? But I've been wanting to work as humans with Owen Wilson. So him, also, I go way back with Jason Keller, the show creator. I remember when he was telling me he was pitching this TV show, and I just thought it was like the best idea. I was like, are you sure that show hasn't been made yet? Like, are you sure there hasn't been a show about a golfer? Like, it just felt so real and right. And those were my two. It was two people.
Well, when I was talking to some of the younger cast, Peter and Lilli, they talked about how they learned so much on the set just from the improv of it all. Not just with, improv comedy, but even coming with creative and collaborative solutions to certain blocking and ways that they were going to enter and exit scenes and things of that nature. Owen, did you feel that, they were kind of catching on to some of the maybe improv that wasn't really on the page?
Yeah, I mean, I know that kind of working with both Lilli and Peter, that, all of us, and we were sort of encouraged to be kind of open to kind of coming up with stuff. And so that, I mean, I always think that's the best way to work, because even if it doesn't make it in to the final cut, sometimes just coming up with something new kind of, keeps you on your toes a bit and can kind of energize you. Yeah, that's the way I like to work.
Well, I love the show. I love being able to talk to the both of you. Congratulations again on it.
Thank
you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Brad Gilmore, ESPN Radio, CW39 in
Cool.
Houston. Peter, Lilli, thank you so much for taking the time. Congrats on the series.
Oh, hey,
so much.
thank you.
Glad to talk to ESPN Radio. Come on.
Absolutely.
Yes, man.
Home
yes,
of
sir.
sports.
Yes, sir. Now, look, I love this show for a variety of different reasons, but really, it's the chemistry of the cast. All of you feel like a chosen family that I love just watching go across from hole to hole, from course to course and play. Talk to me a little bit, though, about the experience of bonding on set. Lilli, if we could talk to you. Did it feel like an instant chemistry, or did you have to work on it a little bit?
Yeah, I think we got pretty lucky. I think we sort of pretty quickly with all of us, and we in particular, we spent a lot of time together. So I think we got really lucky in that we all gelled really quickly and all kind of fell in love and
Fell in love.
yeah.
Wow.
In a professional sense, and we all got together really quickly, and what you see on screen is what you get in the room.
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah, Lilli's very correct in saying that. Yeah, we all sort of took some time, but with Lilli and I, it was sort of like pretty instantaneous. But for the rest of the cast, I would say by the second block, like 2 weeks in, we were all pretty much having late night campfire talks and like all that stuff. When we'd shoot into the AMs, we were all sort of like conversing and having great conversations and connecting. And the crew as well. It just wasn't the cast, it was with the crew as well.
The whole team, it really felt like a family through and through, on screen, and the whole crew and creative team too.
Yeah.
Well, I love just the way that the characters interact, the dialogue on the show, you know, the story, the kind of vision that Jason helped bring to life when creating this show was really well done. But let me ask you this. When you have comedic minds like Marc Maron or an Owen Wilson or the rest of the cast on there, is there a little bit of room to play with the dialogue? Is there some improv going on, or is there a lot of it? Y'all shaking your head. There was a lot of improv, I assume.
Yeah, a lot of improv. Yeah. You you kind of want to always keep up. You never you want it when you see people taking those risks like Owen, like Marc. It starts to excite you about your own sort of possibilities, and you sort of wake up to yourself and you're like, okay, what can I do? Now, it's not about forcing it, because sometimes, like, I just don't have that mind that Owen and Marc have about being able to come up with sort of these lines on the spot. I have it sometimes when it feels right. So it's that line of like, when it feels right, don't stop yourself and go join the party, but don't try to force it when it's not happening if these other sort of greats are doing it. But yeah, there was a lot of improv always.
There was a lot, and I think like Owen and people like Owen and Marc and Mariana. Oh
Mariana
my God,
too is
they set a high bar. So I think for me personally, I know I was a little intimidated at first, but I think we all kind of found our little moments to play.
And there's also like different kinds of improv, because Lilli and I may not have always come in with words and different lines, but Lilli and I, sometimes we would have a scene and we'd have an idea, and we'd find a different color to the scene. We'd bring an idea, we'd have conversations with the director, and that was sort of like impulsive and on the spot. So it might not happen with words, but we have sort of like impulses and do our own kind of improv in terms of ideas, how to execute the scene.
Yeah, even if it's not a quip. Or
blocking ideas. It's not text, but it's with blocking and gestures and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
And as actors, that has to be great to have that collaboration, to where it's not just, hey, this is what's on the page. We're doing what's on the page. It's like, hey, let's talk about this. We're thinking singularly, but acting collectively.
Totally. Yeah. It's exactly that. It is very, and it's in the best interest of the story and the bigger picture at the end of the day. I think that's, that kind of collaboration is such a gift. You don't always get it. So we were very lucky.
Yeah, we were.
Well, you know what? The show is excellent. I really loved it as a golf nut and just as a fan of
you like golf? You like golf?
Look, I golf, but I don't golf well. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm there with you.
Like a calculus equation at the end of the day.
I'm right there with you, man.
You never know. Like the other day I played and I triple bogeyed more than I parred, and it ended up being a calculus equation for me too. You never know. So you got to have those days. I mean,
it happens. Well, Peter, Lilli, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Y'all have a good one. Yeah, Brad Gilmore, ESPN Radio, CW39 in Houston. Mariana, Marc, thank you so much for taking the time. Congrats on the show.
Thanks, buddy. I love Houston. Love Houston.
Great comedy scene out here, man. Great comedy scene. Used to have more comedy clubs than we used to, but hopefully that'll change. But you know what? I love the show. The show was great.
Thanks.
Really, really loved it. And Marc, if I could start with you, between this show and another show that you did that I love, Glow, it seems like the sports backdrop has a really nice thing for you as far as being able to tell these stories episodically. Was there something about, do you think, sports and Marc Maron that makes more sense, that meets the eye?
Maybe. I mean, certainly, I think it really is about the personal dynamics of working with a team or a group, or and having sort of it's a good place for me to be kind of cranky, but not too mean. I don't know if it's sports as much as it is like the situation in Glow. I was the only guy really with like 14 women, and his personality in relation to them, I just thought it was funny how it kind of breaks down in its own way. And here, I think, this character is a little different. The sport's a little different. And the focus is really on the kind of family dynamic that occurs with these kind of underdogs and these people that have been through some stuff, and the journey of self-discovery for all of them, but also the backdrop of sports. But golf is not really a team sport, and the team sport really becomes about these people coming together and transcending their struggles.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, Mariana, on top of that, that's what I thought the show was so great at, is it really hits on this theme of chosen family and the way that you can develop it over time and over in these odd situations. Did you feel that not only shooting the show, but did it come through on set?
Yeah. I think actors kind of are always on that, like, that's their life, you know, because you go from project to project. You know, you make your little life, you put your little set of life, and then you have to pack up and keep walking, you know, and this is kind of what our career looks like, you know. And so, and it's, and you build these little families along the way. But definitely in the show, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so good. In this case, in the case of this show, definitely did transcend. We all got super well along. And the idea of hopping into an RV in the show and each character kind of taking their little elements of their shattered or broken home, like my little dogs that are with me. And, you know, everybody's like bringing some aspect. And we go and we kind of create as a group this makeshift idea of home out in the wilderness, in the middle of nothing, and just get together and see each other and are able to bond through our differences with a common goal and just connect as a family. And I think that process is so human, and I think everybody experiences it in life because we always like make families of our friends and we find our support systems in different moments in life.
Yeah, and I think that's also like a beautiful metaphor of golf, as it seems on the surface that it's an individual sport, but really it does take a village. You need your caddy, you need your coaches, you need your team together to really help propel you through it. And one of the things I was talking to Peter and Lilli about when they said on set, what they learned most about being a part of this show is to kind of allow from some room to breathe in terms of the dialogue, allow some improv to come in and kind of be ready for it, more react than act, if you know what I mean. And Marc, they said that you and Mariana were two ones that really kept them on their toes. Is that something that you enjoy to do, is have that improv injected into projects that you do?
Well, you know, it's interesting with when you have lines and then when you have moments where you're given the freedom to sort of create space and maybe make some different choices, it adds a vitality to the moment. You know, when you catch somebody off guard. I didn't feel like it happened a ton, but yeah, there were definitely moments. And I think Mitz and Elena, the character, were, you know, kind of volatile. They were surprising characters.
Yes, exactly. They were in a heightened state constantly because they were like... So
there was a natural nervousness there just because of the characters, you know?
Yeah.
Well, the show was great. I really enjoyed watching it. And I really appreciate y'all taking the time. Congrats on it again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.